So even though the Refresh 3 and all of its new features are out and pretty much a direct sneak peek at what the Refresh Y is going to offer, the current Y is still outselling everything. Just goes to show how much people value extra space. And as someone that has made countless videos on Tesla accessories, gets DMs and comments all the time, I figured why not compile a list of the most popular Model Y accessories before the refresh arrives. I'll have everything mentioned linked down below, and if it's on test stuff, then you can use code CYBERDAY to get 15% off your entire order until September 4th. So the first 3 accessories are what I would call the new owner starter pack. Pretty much everyone gets these when they get their Tesla. First are all-weather floor mats. Teslas come with really flimsy, cheap-looking carpet mats that look terrible after like 2 weeks. And if you get the rear-wheel drive, then they don't come with anything, just bare floor. So you're 100% gonna want some floor mats. There are 2 types of floor mats, XPE and TPE. TPE is the older, more traditional, really thick rubber. These don't really fit the best and, to be honest, lose what little shape they do have over time. They also stain very easily if you're not cleaning them on a regular basis. XPE, on the other hand, is the newer style floor mats that a lot of people are getting nowadays. They fit pretty much perfectly and never really lose their shape. They are lighter due to them being a multi-layer like construction, and the middle layer being an XPE foam, which helps with sound dampening while also just making the floor feel softer on your feet. And the sound dampening is actually a pretty big one, considering that, well, you're in an EV and you don't have that kind of white engine noise going on. They also clean up a lot better. I've gone through an entire winter without cleaning mine, and a few seconds under a power washer had them looking brand new. To be honest with you, I'm not gonna have any TPE floor mats linked down below simply because I don't use them, I don't recommend them, and I really don't even know where you would buy them, but they are out there if you wanna go looking. Screen protector is next, and this one has become controversial as of late because Tesla updated the manual stating not to use one, or at least they did on the new 3. I don't know if they updated it on the current Y. I can only assume that they're eventually going to update it. And if you're wondering why they did this, like what harm could a screen protector have? Well, I'll tell you. It's simply because people were putting on really cheap $2 to $3 screen protectors with really bad touch sensitivity, like they had zero R&D in testing. And when all of a sudden they started having phantom touches, they thought that it was a Tesla problem, when in reality it was a really cheap screen protector problem. And Tesla just got tired of dealing with it also, and this is just a complete guess on my end. More than likely Tesla is looking at selling screen protectors themselves, so they're trying to get people to not use them so then they can sell you them. It's kind of like what they did with the SSDs when they started selling their own $350 1 terabyte SSD. But yeah, I would still 100% recommend a screen protector as long as you buy a nice one. Do I think you're gonna drop your car and crack the screen? No. But if something does happen, well, that $40 just saved you $1,000 screen replacement. The one I currently have is great. The one on my old 3 was also great. And the one I had on my first Tesla like 3 years back was great as well. Also, I use an anti-glare matte one, which helps with glare coming into the cabin and hitting the screen. And lastly, for the starter pack, inserts and organizers. You know, Tesla used to include the organizer inserts for the center console and armrest, but stopped and started selling them separately, which I actually find kind of annoying, considering that, well, I just gave you $50,000 and now you're nickel and diming me for organizers that really improve the storage situation. It's an EV, so it's got those big tunnels of just open space, and having everything jumbled up in there is kind of just a mess. Make sure you get a sliding one for the center console so you can slide it up and back, and for the armrest, one that has a cutout for the auxiliary power, otherwise known as a cigarette lighter. In case you ever end up having to use that, then you won't need to like take your armrest organizer out and put it to the side. You will also benefit from a cup holder insert, as the bare cup holder is kind of awful. It has no grip or sound dampening like rubber or anything, so drinks, assuming they're not the perfect size, and well, to be honest, the only drink that is the perfect size is the double gulp cup from your local 7-Eleven, all your other drinks are just gonna bang around in there. It's also super easy to pull out and clean should you spill something down in the cup holder, instead of having to like shove your big hand in there with a towel and trying to clean the corner. Yeah, you can just take it out and spray it down. Now, these next 2 things I'm bundling together as they go hand in hand, and while I don't know if they're considered accessories, they're things I see done all the time especially like as soon as you get the car. Tint and PPF. First up, I'm gonna do what most other people just beat around the bush and don't wanna tell you an actual percentage. I'm gonna give you an actual percentage, but you can't hold me responsible in case you get in trouble or anything like that, because your tint laws may differ from mine. Can't sue me, this is for educational purposes only. I personally recommend XPEL XR Plus. You can look up where to find a certified installer via their website. The XR Plus is the top of the line ceramic. In terms of price, you're gonna be looking at about $1,000, assuming you get the windshield and roof tint. If not, and you're just going for the sides, then like $500 to $600. Most people I see don't tint the rear because the rear glass is already super small anyway, but you can if you want. They'll probably charge you an extra like $50 to $100 for that. I have had 30, 25, 15, 5 on all the sides. I've had windshield tint of varying percentage and roof tint. If you get XR Plus, the darkness won't really increase heat rejection, as well that's kind of just ceramic tint for you. You don't need to go dark to get a cooler cabin. If you are going for that dark look and you don't want to just go straight to 5%, I would say 20% on the sides and the roof with 50% on the windshield is kind of that sweet spot if you have white interior. If you have black interior, you can go up to 25 to 30% on the sides and roof, and like 70% on the windshield. White interior makes all tint look about 10% brighter. All of those percentages are gonna look perfect during the day and at night. To be honest, visibility doesn't really start getting affected at night until you get below 20 to 25%. However, please keep in mind what I said earlier about legality and state laws, because some states are just more strict than others. Like in my state, police don't care. Like they don't care. They roll around with 5% themselves. And in fact, you can't even get pulled over for tint. You got to get pulled over for something else, and then tint is an add-on. Whereas I've heard in places like California, they pull you over for everything there. So I don't like, maybe don't get super dark tint there. I don't know. As for PPF, well, I've had it on all of my Teslas and I'm a pretty big fan of it. However, I'm not a fan of the price to get it done professionally. I recently did a video DIY installing a matte PPF, like an entire car kit, and found it to not be as difficult as I thought it was going to be. And it was also cheaper to do the entire car by myself than to just have the front bumper done professionally. I got mine through Drive Protected, and if you use code JMH, you'll get 5% off your entire order. It's a third of the price versus professional, and with Drive Protected Training Academy, they make it very doable for literally everyone. Like if I can do it, you can do it. As long as you have a place to do it, like an enclosed spot, then you can do it. I'll have that video and Drive Protected linked down below. A tire inflator is up next because every time I show mine, I get questions about it. I have both the Fantech X8 Apex and X9 Ultra. I prefer the Ultra, but the X8 is more popular due to its lower price point and more compact size, while still being able to inflate all 4 tires with a built-in flashlight and tripling as a battery bank. I'll have both linked on Amazon and a code down below that may save you some money. It kind of just depends on if they're running a deal or anything. These also make great holiday gifts, so maybe like bookmark it and come back later and buy it. Next up, we got mud flaps for, well, protection, and also for people like me that just think that they add a little bit more width to the car and just make it look a little bit better. There's a ton of different styles you can get, ranging from like really small rubber mats to really thick rally looking mats to more subtle, harder material that, you know, wrap around the panel and provide some side protection. And to be honest, I've always used and recommended the last one, as I find it's kind of the happy medium. It's not so bulky that they stick out, but it's also not too small that they don't protect anything. The ones I'll have linked below also require zero drilling, and well, it's 2024 and you shouldn't be drilling any mud flaps into any car, let alone your brand new Model Y. Now, something that I didn't think would be super popular, but it is a phone mount. Apparently some people still prefer to use their phone for navigation, or maybe you're like an Uber driver or something, and just whatever it might be, you just need your phone to be up and visible. And well, a phone mount is perfect for this, considering that the wireless chargers are way too low to be able to like safely view your phone without like hitting the medium or something. When it comes to phone mounts, you really got 2 options. One that attaches to the screen and one that attaches to the dash. I've never been a big fan of the ones that attach to the screen because they just kind of look a little weird in my opinion. I've always opted for the dash mounted ones. The one I have and recommend is this MagSafe one. You can put it anywhere along the dash. I prefer it on the left of the steering wheel, as I feel like screen on the right and phone on the left just makes for kind of the best combo. And also, not to mention, the MagSafe magnet is super strong. This one doesn't charge, which I actually prefer because I don't want to have a wire running like along my dash or, you know, over top or underneath my like steering wheel column. But if you are dead set on getting one that does charge, I'd recommend mag back. It attaches to the screen. I think it looks the most OEM, and they have a really nice like hidden cable routing system that you can use. I'll have mag back and a discount code linked in the description. If you live in a hotter climate and don't want to apply sunscreen to your head, then roof sunshades are right up your alley. And to be honest, these are super self-explanatory. Mine also closely matches the headliner, so once I put it up, I kind of just forget it's there. In fact, I actually brought someone in my car with me that had never been in my car before, and they thought that the roof sunshades was the roof. Now, even though charging adapters are becoming less and less needed with NACS or, the Tesla port becoming the standard here in the States, they are still very popular, especially with Tesla slashing the prices on their charging adapters. Tesla recently dropped the price of their CCS adapter down to like $125. I literally think that happened this past week at the time that you're seeing this video. And if your car was made before 2022 and it doesn't have the CCS like support, then it's only like an extra $100 for Tesla to retrofit that. So you're looking at like $225, which is less than I paid for the adapter alone like 3 years ago. Now your car should have come with a J1772 adapter. If it didn't, I think they're like $50 from Tesla. And these are great for level 2 destination charging. It's pretty much like all level 2 destination charging use the J1772. However, what isn't great is that they don't have a locking mechanism, so any Karen can just walk up and unplug you. So you're gonna need a Karen lock. This is the one I use. It's great and not one of those super flimsy 3D printed ones that you find on Etsy that break under zero pressure. Now, jack pads are also very popular because you need them to safely jack up the car. Most people aren't changing their wheels themselves, but will still buy them and store them in their trunk or front trunk in case they have an emergency on the road and whoever comes out doesn't have jack pads. You don't want some random roadside assistance company damaging your battery because they come to swap your wheel or something and they don't have jack pads, and yeah. Now, these last few things are a little bit more out there, but I still see them talked about and mentioned a ton. First is an ambient lighting kit. I actually had this in my last Tesla and I loved it. I had an older 3. Really brought the cabin to life at night and was super easy to install, like less than 15 minutes. I normally just had mine set to a solid color, but you could also do animated colors or have it flash to music or something. All around a really cool addition, especially with the new 3 and even the Y being made in China having some form of ambient lighting, but the Y in the US having nothing. Secondly, a rotating screen mount. I had this in my last 3 and I loved it. Like, it still feels weird to have a non-rotating screen in my Refresh 3. The ability to point the screen towards you is just so nice. And apparently Tesla also thinks this, as the higher end S and X have this ability. In fact, it's a like motorized where you just touch something on the screen and the screen will turn itself towards you. I'm actually planning to put in a new rotating bracket on my new 3 this coming weekend. And finally, a radar detector. I get asked about mine all the time. It's not for everyone, but if it is for you, then I have a video showing you how I nicely mounted mine that I'll link. I get comments at least once a day asking me, what's that under your mirror? Or how do I get that same little setup that you have? I have a video here on the channel you can go check out. It's like 30 minutes, goes super in depth, tells you everything you need to know. I use it around town and have taken it on multi-thousand-mile road trips. I'm always alerted multiple miles out of hidden speed traps or just stuff like that. It is on the pricier side of radar detectors, as it is like a top of the line one. So if you're looking for something a little bit more affordable, I've heard good things about both the R7 and R3, also from Unit. But those are all the accessories that I've noticed to be the most popular among Model Y buyers. If there's something that you have and really like that I missed, let me and others know down in the comments. Don't forget, code CYBERDAY for 15% off your entire order at Test Stuff, link below. If you're new around here and want to see more Tesla related stuff in your YouTube feed, then feel free to subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.